My friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are taking the time to stop by today. It means a lot to me. I am going to be doing my February TBR where I will talk about everything I'm reading in February. As always, I usually have a classic going, and a lot of times it is with Courtney Reed's, and right now we are working on The Idiot by Dostoevsky. This is a very deep book. It's about Prince Mushkin, and he is dealing with the fact that he is kind of currently in a genteel poverty. He has illness, but he's a prince, which means that not necessarily that he's from a castle or anything like that. In this time of history, there were lots of princes and princesses that may have been like descended from royalty. Basically, you would be thinking of it as Duke or Duchess, maybe in England now, but he doesn't have any money or land to speak of. He's trying to kind of get out of the state of illness. People think he is an idiot because he is so innocent and pure. They think he's just that naive, and he's not. He is actually, I believe, a type for Christ, and not meant to be a perfect type. He's not perfect. He is very human. Dostoevsky had the respect that Christ was the only Christ, but a lot of good literature has types for Christ in it. And so he is the person, the moral compass of the story, and there are a lot of people who have no moral compass. Dostoevsky often writes people who you hate, people who you love, people who you hate and then grow to love, and then people that you go back and forth on. So this, like all of his things, are very psychological. You have a lot of abuse, misogyny, like looking at different characters and their evilness, and then how that affects someone that could have been perfectly innocent, but now all they know is playing games. So it's very psychologically deep, and so far really enjoying it. You know, Courtney and I go through these very slowly, usually about a chapter a day, so that's what we are currently doing as well. All right, the next thing on the list is I like to have mysteries going to. I read Pepper Basham's The Mistletoe Countess around Christmas time at the end of December. I'm going to be doing the Cairo Curse by her, and we have Freddie and Grace. They kind of were thrown together in an arranged marriage, and you know, we have like the English countryside, and we have a, you know, murder type situation, murder mystery. So they're going on their honeymoon in this one. The only thing I will say is a Christian mystery, romance, suspense type book. Although it is very clean, closed door. If it might bother you, they are very exuberant about liking some benefits that do come with marriage, but not going too graphic, if you know what I mean. If something like that bothers you, just be aware, but nothing graphic, but they are very exuberant about their enjoyment of each other's company. How do you say these things sometimes? I don't know. Anyway, going on to what I am going to also just kind of be reading on my own, not to the family reads yet, but I am going to read Fortress of Snow by Melanie Dickerson. And I'm excited because this is kind of a wintry, we're still, you know, in winter here. Although I picked this when it was frozen outside, and today is 65 degrees. It is glorious. And I don't know if it's going to be wintry stuff when I'm reading all this, or if we're going to stay in the 60s. It's Oklahoma. It could be 80 tomorrow, and it could also be 13 degrees outside tomorrow. So this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling that is a wintry feel. I don't know much about it because I'm wanting to go in blind, but I'm very looking forward to it. Next, I have had so many people tell me they think I will love this book. And so I've heard it from Bandana Book Mom. I've heard it from Chrissy's Purple Library, but Spinning Silver by Naomi Novak. And this is fairy tale story about a girl who can spin silver. I think, but I'm not positive, it is a very, very loosely based on some Rumpelstiltskin stuff, but I don't know if there's a Rumpelstiltskin type character in it, but I just needed some fantasy-ish, fairy tale-ish stuff in my life, and I think these books will kind of get that. All right, now for the contemporary romance, which I know that's not something I read very often, but I'm going to go for it this month. I tend to like my romances more clean, and the first one I will have no problem. I cannot share a title, I cannot share a picture with you because this is a book that has not come out yet, and it is Courtney Reed's. It's kind of in the same world of her book that came out before Christmas, Before and After. So we have a character that I know of for sure that was in that previous book, and we will be following her love life. And so go ahead and get Before and After and read up on that so you'll be ready for this next book when it drops later sometime in the spring, I believe. All right, now another book that is not out yet, that is an arc that I'll be reading, that's a contemporary, humorous, like romantic comedy type romance, is Attached at the Hip. It's by Christine Riccio, and she is a big booktuber. She kind of put booktube on the map, and I have not really read her stuff yet, but she kind of put booktube on, was one of the first booktubers to put booktube on the map. So I thought it would be interesting to support a work of hers that will be coming out, I believe, sometime early summer. So I'm going to read the arc of it this month. All right, talking about just family type reads. So we're still working on Winterfrost. This is a story about a girl who, her and her little sister are left home, and they have Anissa, which is like a little dwarf type creature, like stirring up trouble for them. We're about halfway through it, and it's very, very sweet. I've read it before, and my children are enjoying it. One thing that I'm reading with my son, my 11, almost 12-year-old son, I read individually with my kids before bed at night. We always have some read alouds together in the car, and then I read at lunchtime to them. But I want them to have some special time before bed. So my 11-year-old, we're on the 4th book in the Fablehaven series by Brandon Mull. And these books, they just deal with like a world where magical creatures do exist. It's categorized as more middle grade. I do consider this a little bit closer to YA just because of the scariness and intensity of some situations they get into. But I really like the stories. I like the characters. The only thing I don't like is that their parents aren't clued in on the secrets yet. Their grandparents have brought them in this world, and as a parent, that really irritates me. I would be extremely upset with my parents if they brought my kids into a magical world and they did not bring me along too. Anybody else hear me on that? All right, now with my daughter, we're reading Cinder. This is a YA. This is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles series. Cinder is a reimagining of Cinderella. If Cinderella was a cyborg, this is very sci-fi fun. I'm loving it. We are about halfway done with it as well. All right, now this is the physical book, but right now we're going to be starting on the audiobook to it, and that is The Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan, and this is a spin-off of the Percy Jackson series. So we dealing with Greek mythology, so we're going to meet some new characters and see maybe what, so we're often dealing with heroes who have like a god or goddess parent and a human parent, so I'm interested to see what the god or goddess parent is with these new characters we'll be introduced to. As far as audiobooks go as well, we're still listening and almost done with Prince Lander's Dragonmore. This is by S.D. Smith, and this is the prequel series to Green Ember. Wonderful bunnies that are fighting for justice and good. I highly recommend the Green Ember series, the prequel series. There are some very short novella type stories in the world too. Love them all so far. And last but definitely not least, as far as nonfiction, audiobook we're doing in the car, we're going to be listening to Amy Carmichael's story, Amy Carmichael, Rescue Our Precious Gems. This is put out by YWAM Publishing, and I have never been disappointed in any of these. They are so well done, and just learning about wonderful truths with your children. All right, what are you reading in February? Do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Are you a seasonal reader? Do you enjoy like winter reads in the winter? Are you going to switch to like more spring reads soon in about a month or two? Let me know in the comments. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I greatly appreciate it. Read a lot. Bye-bye.